Yes, sir. We
Are
can
you
see
there?
your slides, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
We can see your slides.
Thank you. So we are talking about technology management. So I thought I will take this opportunity to introduce the subject to you, because next 5 days you are going to learn two special lectures. Then couple of lectures I will also give. So this session is basically to give a flair to the subject, what it is all about. Talking about technology management, we are basically referring to two aspects, technology and the management. Technology is, there are different definitions of technology. One is all the knowledge, products, processes, tools, methods, and systems employed in the creation of goods or in providing services. We also deploy technology to provide services. Today, IT is big enabler to provide services. Second, science and engineering to the development of machines and procedures in order to enhance or improve human conditions, or at least improve human efficiency in some respect. So technology is deployed to improve productivity and so on. So technology is basically linked to the improvement in the standard of living. We develop technology so that we can do things better, we can get more from less, and so on. It is basically an application of technology, not just development, which is key to success in the competitive global economy. Because technology creates wealth. World's richest person, Bill Gates, basically thrives on technology. He doesn't own mines, he doesn't own oil fields, he doesn't, basically a technology. So the enhancement of economic prosperity of countries and industries or even businesses depend upon the effective deployment of the technology. And technology itself does not produce commercial results or money. It is application that brings commercial benefits. And that application comes from the effort of entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs basically convert resources into goods and services by deploying the technology. So the role of entrepreneur is very important. And the technology adds value to the company or enterprise. So where does that competitive advantage comes from? It comes from the firm's entrepreneurial ability to expect market shocks and discontinuities. COVID has created a lot of discontinuities. And we've seen people with new products and services trying to fill that gap. Famous economist Joseph Schumpeter used the term creative destruction to say new sources of competitive advantage displacing the existing ones. Actually, society, or even we as a consumer, benefit more from competition between new products, new technology, new forms of organizations, new players, than just from price differentiation. Implies that present entry barriers, mechanisms that protect a particular company advantage will not last for very long. They are not permanent. Consistency of a competitive advantage reduces as technology and the consumer taste change rapidly. Not like for any competitive advantage. Stability, firms that possess superior products and technology earn economic benefits. So exploit the opportunities which are created by the shocks in the economic next period of quietness or the stability. firms enter the state of what is called hyper competition players, and the competitive advantage can only be sustained for only a very short period of time. Today, there are several industries which are in this state, and they can sustain their economic profit only by continuously seeking new sources of competitive advantage. Now we come to the second, management. We understand management is just a process of planning, organizing, coordinating, leading, and controlling. The basic principles of management which have been taught to us. Now, today, when we say technology management, just applying these processes of planning, organizing, coordinating, controlling to technology, that is something beyond that. Technology management, it goes beyond that. You learn the general skills. You think that technology management is project management, creativity management, HR management. It goes. The questions are technology into the overall strategic objective of the firm. How do you integrate technology strategy into the business strategy? How do you identify the opportunity when you deploy the technology? How do you get technology faster and more efficient? How do you assess and evaluate technology more efficiently? The technology is very fast, you have a number of alternatives available. How do you evaluate this? How do you accomplish technology transfer? Because technology has different sources, in-house, outside. Use product development time, competitive fast, as you see. And how do you manage large, complex, internationally or inter-organization projects or systems? Even a product like smartphone has number of technologies which are integrated into it. Not all technologies come from in-house; they come from number of sources. So when you develop products like that, you are dealing with large number of technologies, large number of organizations. How do you manage the organization's internal use of technology? Technology gets developed in R&D, but as through a manufacturing. And the most important part is people give less importance is how do you leverage the effectiveness of technical professionals. This point is the most important part of technology management. You deal with people, you deal with human beings, they have to be motivated, you have to exploit their full potential. That is an important aspect of technology management. National Academy of Sciences in the US has defined the subject as links engineering, science, and management discipline with plan, develop, and implement technology capability to shape the strategic and operational objective of management is, according to me, an integrative multidisciplinary approach and address the broader question of how the organization can maximize the gain from the technological assets. Technical assets is tangible as well as intangible, including IP. It is involved in planning, organizing, and stepping the work environment. Which are technology related conflicts or functions in any kind of organization is technology. The integration of technical work into the enterprise or institution in which the work takes place, and also the use of technology to assist management in these processes. Technology also required to manage this. goal is to increase the effectiveness of research, development, and manufacturing. And the results of these three functions into a competitive products processing system. Let's look at what are the challenges before R&D. Global competitive pressure. This is a global world, post GATT, movement of goods and services across the globe. And a global presence. New products gets the introduced across the world at the same time. We might introduce a new version of Windows 1st January 2021. Across the globe, it will be introduced on the same day. Comes in with across the world. There is also a need for faster product renewal. Technology or a skill life cycle is becoming longer, but product life cycle is becoming shorter. As a result, you have to keep on renewing and bringing a new version of product. Look at the smartphone, look at automobiles. In 3 years, the technology changes. At the time, the R&D costs are increasing, and R&D is increasing. What I call as new technologies. Technologies were based on known principles of science. New technologies are based on emerging science. Whether it's biotechnology, nanotechnology, and so on. So you need to capture the new knowledge as it comes. The new paradigm which is emerged. The entire technology interaction taking place across the globe. Different customers, different demands. Time to meet those demands, customize your products. And today there are multiple geographical and organizational sources of innovation. No, it is only in-house R&D or part of R&D being acquired within the country. In the global world, it is all spread out. And there is a cross-functional learning which is taking place. Because R&D, engineering, marketing, finance, manufacturing, all they are working together products. So you learn from each other and also along the value chain from everybody, including the vendor. So the combination of inward and outward learning. R&D and what is coming from outside. And it is no longer a technology transfer taking from an advanced world to the developing world or developed world, but also in the reverse way. Are involved into technology development. So what has been developed in India is also being taken out. G Medical Systems in Bangalore develops medical devices for India, and they have been now taken away across the globe, other parts of the developing world. And multinational companies had a R&D headquarters, operated kind of structure. They were a hub, and the rest of the world was spokes. The rest of their labs across the world. Hub structure is valid today. Is more of a network or a matrix-oriented organized structure where every lab across the globe is taking part.
Excuse me, sir. Sorry to disturb you, sir. Hirwani, sir. May I
Yeah.
request you to make your full screen of your presentation so that
Oh,
everybody can see very
oh,
nicely?
sorry, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
And there is a geographical dispersion of multinational R&D. This technological specialization. The companies are in automobile, medical devices, a subsidiary in India, which is software. Because today, software is embedded into every product, whether it is a washing machine, or automobile, or a device. Because there is a technological specialization India has. You want to go to pharmaceuticals, you go to the UK, Cambridge, Oxford, London. These pharma companies are India. Plus, affiliates of these companies, certain specialization. So companies want to tap into that location specific and differential stream of innovation. IBM may be focusing on speech recognition in Japan. For automobile design, it may be Italy. These are location specific streams of innovation specialized. And companies are depending on centers of excellence in particular industry. Across the globe, there are certain centers of excellence in particular area which are there. And companies are using high quality local scientific talents to play a role in their global R&D projects. Development in communication technology has led to technology leveling among countries and companies. Because R&D, what it produces is basically information. The information is a fluid commodity, which can today, in a real-time basis, be transferred anywhere. So what you see is an international division of labor and the specialization of corporate technological activity across locations. So what is emerging is a kind of global technology procurement system. Is a proliferation of national innovation systems in each country in the knowledge centers. And R&D is getting externalized. No longer all the R&D is being done in-house. Because today every technology is a multi-product, multi-technology. And no company can at the cutting edge in all the technologies. Even if money change is so high that not enough time to keep a cutting edge use technology. Companies have certain core capabilities. The rest is acquired wherever they are available best in the world. In sourcing intellectual equipment, enhance R&D, popular processing program, get greatest return on investment around the globe. This will touch in lectures this session. Management profession which started with integrating technology strategy to business strategy. Today has two overarching themes. One is technology. What does innovation mean? It one of the greatest management thinker, business review, way back in 1985, saying it is a means by which create resources are an existing resources with immense potential for creating definitions. Or application of knowledge to novel and useful age. Application of utilitarian element and the exploitation of both newly discovered and well-established sources of knowledge. So this is important. Innovation that does not make money is merely an image. Innovation is a business process which converts bright idea or a knowledge or invention into an innovation. Also innovation. One is strong technology base. Because investment are is research across the second intelligence. Understand the market for your products. What application is being used, who's using, how is using. You should be also able to anticipate the future markets. What kind of application? What kind of customers? This requires teams with multiple skills. As a specialist in particular branch of science or engineering not sufficient. You need collective skills of a team within that energy. You have creative, prolific inventor. Synergize with other abilities of market, engineering, and so on. What are the key drivers of success in innovation? Support to logical conclusion. There is all the diversity. These are people who do out of box thinking. They don't accept the failure. No. Why not? And they have intimate knowledge of the organization. Right? Problems. So that accessibility top management is an significant are very often serendipitous events. Every innovation is planned innovation. Some of incidents which resulted in highly successful products, but that trained mind and trained eye. Idea generation is through networks, companies, structure programs, the processes to capture ideas. And when you reward individual creativity as a team excellence, because everybody in the team is contributing. And systems for self-management, you know, to control those kind of creativity. You need to have belief that you're a talented few people. In the everyday task of making non-obvious connections. You have to see something which is not obvious to everyone. And you need to view the perspective from other people's eyes. A different people have a different perspective. A chemist looks at it different from an engineer. Even in engineering, a mechanical engineer looks differently from metallurgical engineer. You must set the stretch goals. Something is impossible to reach normally. Why not? Why can't we meet it? Organization need to create a culture of taking risks. At the end of the day, innovation is a gamble. Today, we are talking about vaccine development for COVID. We know half a dozen candidates are in the running, otherwise three are in the front. Nobody has cleared yet. They're all in clinical trials. But Serum Institute is already producing vaccine. On the whole, it's market because market is eagerly waiting for the vaccine. They are very clear that if it fails, all that vaccine will go into better. But that is a gamble. They're playing for the high stakes. When we talk about remdesivir, I think somebody has a. Please mute. Kindly mute.
I request you all participants, please mute your mic so that you can hear comfortably the speaker's voice. Please.
Remdesivir, which is today being used as a drug for the COVID treatment. Gilead Life Sciences have been doing work on this for more than 10 years. Initially, antiviral compounds, they looked at Ebola and other viruses. Before they could succeed for Ebola, a competing product came and displaced remdesivir. But today, remdesivir they found a use for the COVID. But it is the investment for 10 years which is giving the miracles. So that is a gamble. So you have to ensure there is no fear of failure. Failure is an integrated part of innovation. And you learn by making mistakes. There has to be an open and transparent organization culture where people can anticipate what will happen or how others will behave, management will behave, react. Leadership has to play a very important role here. Leadership that is not be punished if they fail. Leadership is views failure as a part of the process. Engaged in the whole innovation process. Basically, what is trying to increase the organization's capacity and its intellect. Leadership that is collaborative, not controlling. And not to control people. to work with them, achieve goals. Leadership is less evaluated, not evaluating people on the basis of success or failure. Interpret. Leadership is encourages communication so that everybody is able to freely talk, express their opinion. You will create avenues for ideas to bubble up. Encourage all kinds of. They look ridiculous. They look not achievable, not connected. Let those ideas bubble up. Then evaluate it. This is where the vision comes in. History is again full of the events when the great people made a mistake. In 1870s, the telephone developed. Western Union internal memo said this telephone has too many shortcomings to be considered a means of communication. Lord Kelvin was president of the Royal Society. He said heavier than air flying machines are impossible. Commissioner of Patents in the United States in 1899 said everything that can be invented has been invented. 1920, when somebody was an investment in radio, he said wireless music has no imaginary commercial value. Who would pay for a message sent to nobody in particular? Because radio is broadcasted. Thomas Watson was the chairman of IBM. He said, I think there's a world market for maybe 5 computers. A company with more than 100 years history of innovation. Popular Mechanics is an engineering magazine for the hobbyists. In 19 said, computer in the future may weigh no more than 1.5 tons. Chairman of Digital himself said, as late as in 1977, there's no reason anyone would want a computer in their home. It's surprising, Bill Gates, he wrote a beautiful book, Wrote for the Future, very visionary. He himself made a mistake of saying more than computer memory of 640 KB or something. Innovation requires cross-functional teams. Cross-functional diversity provides multiplicity of ideas for creative thinking. Everybody looks at the problem from a different angle. There can be different approaches to solve it. For a team to succeed, one must have a strong subordinate identity to it. In our field, we make our egos subservient to and that creates a trust, companionship in the team. Interpersonal ties improves the innovativeness. Social cohesion is actually the deterrent to innovation. The difference of opinion, disagreement, actually tends to the. 'Cause. 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 'C monitored. They are a powerful motivator for enhancing the innovation because people feel involved. Type of innovation. One is incremental innovation, which is continuing existing products, methods of practicing, an improvement in existing methods and technology, add some features. The product evolves over a period of time, Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3. Then you have innovation, totally new products or services. What Akio Marita, Sony Corporation chairman, had said once, our job is to make our own products obsolete. If we don't do it, our competitors will do it for us. It's a tragedy. Man who had that vision, his own Walkman was replaced by iPod. It's not from Sony. So innovation requires considerable change in basic technologies and methods. Revolutionary idea can create. Then there's a product innovation and the process innovation. New techniques of producing goods or services improve the effectiveness and efficiency of production process. When we say India is a leader in the generic pharmaceuticals, this is a process innovation. New processes which are more efficient than the original innovators. Pharmaceutical products, new molecules don't come from us, but all Indian companies are very skillful, competent in the process innovation. The product innovation, the new product offerings, new functional characteristics, technical ability, ease of use, and sometimes entirely different technology based or different applications. Technology evolved through a period of incremental change, which is punctuated by technological breakthroughs, either enhance or destroy the competence of established companies. Competence destroying this country is always initiated by new entrants. Competence enhancing this country will be always initiated by existing firms. The new entrants very often come up with a radical innovation. Again, a technological discontinuity does not necessarily become a dominant design. Because initial version when it comes, it requires a considerable amount of effort, time, energy, do optimization, design changes, manufacturability. So the first versions of new technology do not become industry standards. And the first mover advantage. Highest complexity of innovation and some non-technical factors in establishing the dominance. Because no longer the technical issues involved, there are a lot of other issues which are involved to succeed. There will be regulatory issues, the barriers to manufacturing capacities, and so on. The disruptive technologies markets by doing new kind of products or services. The new product or service from the new technology can cost less than the existing product or service old technology. Initially, the product may not perform as good as the existing product, but eventually the performance catches up. And that is a big system. It's expensive. As the volumes increase, the cost comes down. Innovation introduce a new value proposition. They attract low-end customers, in retail sales, low-budget airlines, bail supply chain. Market occurs when the existing product limits the number of potential customers. Examples: product camera, the product no longer the Bell telephone, Sony transistor radio, Xerox photocopier, Apple PC. Name. So you want customers into new customers. They're in the market for yourself. To the issue of organizing their innovation, managing their innovation. Ability to affect fundamental change in its own way of working. Alter your whole business structure, practices, and capabilities. It will be lean manufacturing, management, structure change, outsourcing, supply chain management, corporate venturing, and so on. Change in the way the business is done in terms of capturing that value, the models of revenue. Becker again said, innovation is the responsibility of every executive and begins with a conscious search of opportunities. Those opportunities cannot be categorized but not predicted. Finding those opportunities and exploiting them focused practical solutions requires disciplined work. And that disciplined work form of the technology management. Skills for technology management. This means integration of technology strategy with business strategies. That understand the technology of the corporation and competition is the most important part. Business competition in the marketplace, even a technological competition. So, new technical developments, technical breakthroughs, technology monitoring early in the game. Again, when I speak to you day after tomorrow, but take transfer process. To get developed in house in R&D, has to get into design, has to get into manufacturing. Still within the company, the process is not smooth. Coming from outside, you are transferring technology to your vendor. This alliance is one of the key skills today. We already talked about outsourcing. Not everything is only a certain key skill. We also need to participate in national technology initiatives. How government is funding research, how government is investing, how be part of it, how can you leverage that? That is a part of technology management process. When we are talking about technology forecasting, because the threat is serious of the new technology. You can't wait for the new technology to come to the market and take notice when it is too late for you. You need to anticipate forecasts. Today there are tools for technology forecasting. You need to learn the senior planning, road mapping, and so on. I understand there's a separate session on this. We predicted to develop an alternative feature and a structure. Successful forecast demand familiarity with science relevant to technology being done. The science emerges, which we are able to see applications. Today is related products and R&D results. What is happening in the market? Where market is going? So we have in technology, very often you don't know what application it has. You must have an understanding that element is either too radical or too conservative estimates. You need to be willing to present and defend whatever the resulting ideas are. As much data as analysis requires, analyze the data in multiple ways. Then we measure within the existing frameworks. You can do a long-term forecast, medium-term forecast, near-term forecast. Including the midterm forecast. The roadmap is again a technique. Look future and define the road or a path which you will follow. That has a basis in your technology, your organization capabilities, your business strategy, and how the environment is changing. The environment, market environment, political environment. The roadmap is again contextual. It will depend on what sector you are operating, what industry you are in, what is your business, what kind of product or service you are selling. Has resulted into what I call as the birth of CTO. There is no chief technology officer in the companies. People are managers. After all this, they were right as a lead or somebody who looks at all the technology aspects. R&D guy was not supposed to be the technology manager. And he not. Today, I have a separate chief technology officer. But these are well, technologies and assess their potential to become new product services. All R&D project to ensure that they have the potential to add value to the company. He's a guy who's supposed to look at profit motives. Assessment for merger and acquisition. Companies acquire other companies, acquire external technologies. Media. Media is very important today. Right? Reaching your customers, to your investors, to all of the stakeholders. It is the job of CTO to explain company products and future plans to the media. government, academic, industry groups where there are opportunities to promote the company's reputation and to capture valuable data information. So technology-based activities into corporate studies require the CTO to nurture relationship with another important part. Support transfer, especially as I find many of you come from academic institutions, research institutions. And government is putting a lot of money in setting up incubators, technology business incubators. What is happening worldwide is companies have moved away from funding discovery research. They no longer sponsor research. They want proven technologies, startups, basically bridge the research and industry requirement. Industry wants something which is proven, which is scaled up. As institution of higher learning and research, we have something which we show on the laboratory level. Have confidence in those results. They want results, scalable results. They want customer trials to be done. Action they want to see before they want to put their money. And this startup in the gap. There's nobody to pay for this. Currently, a lot of government schemes, angel funding, seed grants, government itself is putting. So these startups have become that bridge that they have fulfilled that gap. So startup companies which are founded in academic governments after that move to research funding and technology commercialization. They have become a preferred route of technology transfer. So there's a widespread use of incubators in entrepreneurial and innovation policies. These business incubators are leading instrument used by the US, including European Union, all the countries to facilitate technology transfer from public research organizations. Otherwise, the commercial risks are much higher when you take R&D business to market. Very often lack the business skills. The startups go through mentoring process. Technology is to support the initiation of high technology industry in the earliest stage of technology innovation. To create new science-based industries. Science-based players will not put their money there. No. New employment opportunities for technology skilled persons. Everybody used to go abroad. We used to say IIT 99% go abroad. IIT go abroad. Because opportunities for their skill, based on their skills. They said there are no opportunities in this country. Opportunities for skilled people to be retained. Support and protect the environment to individual inventors and entrepreneurs for the development of technology and innovation to business ventures. That's the amount of time, energy, and efforts to convert applications and markets. See now as a kind of fourth generation incubators. Maybe I'm an older person, so you are younger people. Might can see now fourth generation. First generation was a kind of flexible workplace and common services, like a tenant. CTI, Software Technology Parks of India, which has facilities across the country. The unit, you went there, had a place under a common service. You were just a tenant. The just give you infrastructure support. Second generation was a generation plus an enterprise incubation service, what we call business park. So management support. Third generation, you added a technology market focus, involvement of the research institution, academic institution by creating those innovation parks. So that was the support. Now, what we are seeing is the fourth generation with the close involvement from investors in industry venture creation. We're getting venture capitalists, we're getting angel investors. The complete full chain of knowledge generation, application, and exploitation. You have to manage all these activities. You require managers. Institutions you see, whether research institution or academic institution, all these facilities are being created. They lack the managers who have that vision and who can create them, run them. What we are doing is we are asking existing some faculty member or existing scientist that you be in charge. Whether he has the business background, whether he fits the bill. So there's a shortage of these technology managers. Effective screening at the entry level of these ventures, mentoring. So they require business experience, related product. Technical IPR advice can be provided by external experts. Required tailored financial services. Each has its own requirement. Manage the startup scale up. Capital from third-party investors. Agreement local finance institutions. The technology transfer process require integration of so many activities. If we start with an invention disclosure, of a product. Protection involved, the invention marketing has to be done, licensing of IP has to be done, product development, marketing. The pre-licensing which takes place in the lab, post-licensing they take place in the company, in the incubator. Funding from venture capitalists will depend on IP protection and management. Protected IP, the funding is faster than the IP. But IP protection requires certain IP management skills. So the progresses through development in the startup's value increases based on how much progress you made, how much IP you protected, what scale you have gone. All this requires market valuation, value-added activities. Future is a kind of generation of incubators. Function of business incubator and other instruments, SLT parks, tech transfer offices, venture capital funds. Although capacity, network, and goals are different, there will be a merger. Today, capacity and investment for science and technology in the country have not been adequately translated to innovative and dynamic business operations. Government are continuously investing for the last 70 years in funded research, academic research, but that has not got transferred into the products and processes which are commercial, added value. They're not created wealth. The government is therefore pushing for entrepreneurial role of educational research institutions. Therefore, you see Startup India, incubation centers, Atal Innovation, and all those kind of activities. But all this needs technology managers. Financial institutions require technology managers because they need to evaluate these ventures, support these ventures, mentor these ventures. IP protection and valorization agencies require technology managers. Today, when you fund IP, you need to value IP. You must know whether the IP is useful. The startup fails, venture capital is at least saying, can I encash that IP? Can I monetize that IP? The venture has failed. Today there is an insurance available against IP for litigation and all that. Licensing, commercialization. All these agencies which are putting money, they require technology managers. Direct requires technology manager. So everybody needs, therefore, we are talking about technology management, which is beyond a general management, which is beyond an engineering management. Technology management is right from identification, selection of technology, exploitation and protection. All these activities, I can tell you from personal experience, it's very exciting. You learn a lot. Each project is so much. Each project brings so many stakeholders. You get to technologies, applications, markets. I'll stop here. If there are any questions, I'm more than happy to answer. Are there any questions?
Sir, I have one question, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, you have covered in the last few slides that the investment has not got translated into innovative and dynamic business organizations. What could be possible reasons for this?
The possible reason is, as you know about the science, converting this requires a lot of other skills. Those have been lacking, and we have not introduced people with those skills into our research and education institutions. Valued them, we are not respected them and given them the same system what you give it to the scientists. You have a fellowship, SS Bhatnagar Award for a scientist. Or will you get to the same technology manager who commercializes your technology? You'll respect somebody with papers. You'll not respect somebody who has patents and which have been commercialized. System. Plus, you don't have people who assist these people. You know, there is a what is called technology intermediary. Those are required to do this. But today we are feeling that gap. Does it answer your question?
Sir,
Yes. Yes, please. Any other question? Hello?
Hello.
Hello, yes, please.
Sir, I am Dr. A. Selvakumar from
Yes.
from an academic institution, engineering college.
Yes,
Sir,
please.
you said TBA managers should have a strong business background.
Yes.
Normally, we academicians will not have that background, right? Then how can we manage that?
No, you have to hire a business manager. Without that, you cannot run TBA.
Oh, we have to go for an external source.
Yes.
Because in our government institution purely we don't have such a choice. Normally one of the faculty will be taking the TBA charge.
But that is where the problem is, right? Because the faculty in charge, he may be an excellent engineer, excellent scientist. He has no feel for the market, he has no feel for the financial institutions, he has no feel for the legal issues, IP and all those kind of a thing.
Okay,
So
okay.
how can we connect that startup and mentor them? Then he's just an administrative head who will just sign some papers, approve and all that. So everywhere in the world, the successful TBIs have technology managers. Actually, under these Atal Innovation Missions and all that, they are permitting an external manager to be hired. Actually, I know the situation because I have been part of the committees where we have not given a sanction letter to the institution. We have said, please tell us who will head this. Only when you show us some face, share the biodata, we'll give you a sanction.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Sir, I have one question, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, I'm Dipesh, Group Captain Dipesh Shahaji. This is regarding, sir, one of the statement you had made that DRDO scientists should not be a techno manager. Can you elaborate this statement, sir?
No,
Because,
I did not say DRDO scientists do not be technologists.
sir, if I'm not wrong, sir, you mentioned.
I
Sir.
generally said a scientist not be a technology managers because he lacks certain skills. See,
Okay, sir, but
see,
but,
you may be
but,
prolific
sir,
inventor. I respect you for being prolific inventor. But that does not give you an advantage in terms of knowing about the market, knowing about applications, knowing about business, IP management, other things. See, what happens, I find you are a scientist, you have 10 patents, you have created. And you start saying, I know patents, I know IP management. You don't want to listen to a professional. You have 10 patents does not make you an expert on IP. You are a prolific inventor. We respect you for that inventions as a your creativity. But IP is a profession by itself. So you may have 10 patents, but you must listen to an IP professional who knows how IP is prosecuted, how IP is licensed, how IP is litigated. That is what I'm saying. All other aspects as a scientist, because you are not working, I don't blame you. Because these are full-time professional people who work in full-time, the profession knows. So you need advice and help of those people.
Sir, I'm Rupert Srijit, sir, the co-host.
Yes.
One question in the chat box, if you kindly can answer those, sir. Some from Manda.
Dr. Hirwani, sir, I will read one question. I will read one question for you from the chat room. That Mr. Mandar Suman, sir, he has raised one question. That, sir, what will be the role of lean management in technology management area in India? What will be the role of lean management in technology management area in India? That is one question. If you could answer, then उसके बाद में दूसरा एक question है. Second question is, what are the new concepts of management in technological companies developing innovative technologies currently used? These are two questions. You can also see in the chat room.
When we speak about lean management, we are basically talking about efficiency. Happening, no longer there are full-fledged R&D departments. Pharmaceutical industry, which was supposed to be completely integrated and completely secretive, today is seeing a supply chain management in R&D developing across the world. Right from new molecules which are coming, their synthesis, their evaluation, clinical trials, regulatory. There are specialized small companies which are getting developed worldwide. These are being contracted out to them. So bigger companies are only become integrators. So I consider this as an example of lean management, where you are bringing in efficiency, you are not bringing up very huge staff. There used to be companies, I know big companies with 100 people in regulatory section. Today, regulatory job is done by outsourced. Coming to next question of new concepts. Again, innovation as an extension, I was going to talk in that lecture, which we are talking about open innovation. That is bringing up entirely new models of the way companies are working. So technology companies, when they are developing innovative technologies, the models of development have changed. Where companies go outside, collaborate with a number of cases where not a single experiment is done within in-house. We'll discuss when we are talking about, I have a lecture where we are talking about open innovation, other things. We'll discuss the details.
So another question from the chat box is, how should we look at implementing technology management considering the impact of COVID-19? Sir, this is from Mr. Vaman Shankar.
See, now this will be contextual in a sense, what industry you are in, what technology you are in, what product you are in, because COVID impact is there, but it impacts different sectors, different industries in a different way. And this is going to be a transitory phase for a year and a half. So that what is the time frame of your technology or the product, I cannot say. So therefore I'm saying here it has to be very contextual. So this is a particular case, then we can talk about it. Companies across the world have continued their R&D, although physical R&D has little bit suffered a setback. But pre-R&D activities, design activities, all are going on. We are part of many of those. But physical experiments where number of people have to be there, their little setback has been there.
So another question is, which is more advantageous in terms of innovation and business, incremental or radical innovation? Sir?
See, again, it depends on what kind of company you are. Actually, radical innovation is more beneficial because you displace an existing player, you have first mover advantage. If you are organized to capture that advantage, then you are in a beneficial situation. But if you are not organized, then other people are going to take advantage of that situation. And the follow-on fellow may derive value on what you have done. And there are number of cases where the person who introduced did not benefit, but the people who followed him benefit from that. Even a simple thing like I'll tell you, in refrigerators, Voltas were the first people who used polyurethane foam for the insulation. They quietly introduced, did not make any much noise. Godrej followed them, and Godrej capitalized on them by a mass campaign, PUF. PUF is polyurethane foam. And I don't know how many of you remember, Godrej advertisement used to come puff, puff, puff on the TVs. And they made so much of value proposition on that puff that Godrej captured more value than the Voltas. They were not organized that way. Where Godrej was a consumer product company, they knew how to advertise, how to capture. When Voltas was a typical industrial company, did not do that. What is the role and difference we are using technology in supply chain management? Supply chain management extensively uses ICT. Today, whole supply chain management depends on IT across the world.